You've been a social entrepreneur. You've given the largest solo math tour. You've won a lot of competitions.
For 10 years, I was the national coach of the USA International Mathematical Olympiad team.
Talk a little bit about your first company.
We're the first people in the history of education to put a professional actor in every single classroom.
How does this platform work?
We put people who are really good at math, they're high school math geniuses. They're teaching these classes, and at the exact same time as they're teaching, there's a professional actor in that room giving real-time feedback, tweaking the voice, the eyes, the expression, the hands.
Platforms like Khan Academy, Baiju.
We happen to make the best thing out there.
All right, everyone. Today we have Po-Shen on our show, and we're going to be talking to Po about a lot of interesting subjects. I'm really excited to have you on the show. How are you doing today, Po?
Great. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so Po is one of those rare, interesting people that I always wanted to meet because you're not just an academic person. You've been a social entrepreneur. You've given the largest solo math tour. You've won a lot of competitions. But I really want to start with this solo math tour that you did in 2021 because for me, that was like one of the rarest things and coolest things you did because it's like you're touring all across US teaching people during COVID. Can you tell me about that experience?
Sure. That was really fun. So for 10 years, I was the national coach of the US International Mathematical Olympiad team. And during that time, I would go around and give a lot of talk because people wanted to know about methods to learn math and so on. But then during COVID, I just couldn't go around and give talks. So I got itchy. All right. So I was recording something in New York in May of 2021. Some studio had flown me out because they had this crazy idea that you could go and use professional equipment to record math lessons. I thought that was cool. But when I was out there, I noticed that people were starting to get out again and the restaurants were full. And I said, you know what? Maybe I can get out and give talks again, but I have to make sure I don't make super spreader events. And then I got this idea. I said, you know what? There are parks outside. Parks have shelters. You know, in America, we got parks with picnic shelters. I wonder if I can just go city to city and like a band, set up my own speakers, put them outside, and then just do talks in parks. This will be fun. I told some people and they said, there's no way this is ever going to work. How are you going to carry all the equipment, one man, solo? How are you going to go to all these places? Will anyone show up? I said, challenge accepted. If you tell me that something's not possible, I'm going to try. I went to the music stores, the pro audio shops. So then I just went and bought like the PA speakers. It was an awesome experience because right after COVID, all these people had been pent up at home. And I was going city to city and I was just announcing, hey, anyone who wants to learn about what learning is, I'm happy to give a talk. And this brought all these math interested and generally learning interested people out of the woodwork, city by city. It was a remarkable experience going from park to park to park, driving off in the sunset from one city to the other, seeing all the humanity. And that's actually how I got the crux of the idea for the next big thing I did.
Can you talk a little bit about your first company and how many years has that been in the making?
Yeah, I have one company, my first and only company.
Expii.
It's called Expii. And I started out with this crazy idea of like, I wonder if you could make a website where people contribute lessons and everyone can go and look at these lessons and the best lessons are voted up. And I thought this should be easy. I should be done in like 3 months. Well, I was wrong. This is hard, but I'm glad I started because once I start something, I don't give up. We've pivoted like crazy because at the very beginning, the idea, okay, there's some website that people learn math lessons from. That's cool. But the impact, right? Even though we got to the point at some point that 300,000 people a month went to this website, the impact wasn't huge because if someone's just coming there, looking at a lesson and going away, okay, nowadays you can just use ChatGPT for that. All right. So we've pivoted so many times. And actually what we're at now is still under the same company, right? But it's totally different. This was inspired by going on that tour and seeing all the humanity and seeing that actually what people want is to have a more human way to learn. Okay. So the main thing we do now is we make math lessons that look like Twitch gaming streams.
Really?
Oh yeah. So what we have is, and the key insight, all right, the key insight, which was covered by CNN earlier this year, the key insight is we're the first people in the history of education to put a professional actor in every single classroom.
How did you find professional actors who were also good at math?
So the secret is that our actors don't have to be good at math. We have the actor playing the role of an artistic director, and the people who are teaching are the ones who have the math background. The people who are teaching, by the way, they're high school students. They're high school math geniuses. So what we do is we put people who are really good at math, they're teaching these classes, and at the exact same time as they're teaching, there's a professional actor in that room giving real-time feedback, tweaking the voice, the eyes, the expression, the hands. So So this makes it so that like lessons just look interesting.
So how does this platform work? Is this like pre-recorded lessons, or can anyone show up and ask a question in real time?
I used to do something with everyone asking questions in real time. That's how I also got the idea. During the pandemic, I ran an hour a day on YouTube, just live streaming, and anyone can ask any questions. But that turns out to be too unstructured for learning. So what we do, it's sort of like if Uber had a train. Okay, what does that mean? So the trains leave at specific times and they go along specific routes, right? They're pre-scheduled.
Yeah.
Uber is the concept of
Unscheduled.
unscheduled. So the way we work is we have classes. The classes are 20 sessions, 1 hour each. And those are like trains with stops, right? And as soon as we have enough demand, we can go and put the drivers on the trains, go, and then for 20 weeks, one specific hour, you join this particular group and you have a party. Actually, it would probably help right now if I show you what this looks like.
All right, let's see it.
This is an online math class. This is 2 people. They're both high school students. They're both teaching.
It's cool because everyone is commenting and interacting in the real time. Is it like a group lesson?
Yes, these are group lessons. That's the whole point. People used to think the best thing is like one-on-one lessons, just showing you how to do all the steps. That's the best way to train a robot, okay? So what we are after is we want to teach people how to be productive in group brainstorming sessions.
Yeah.
You know, like there are meetings in work, right? You don't want to be the guy in the meeting that's just sitting there waiting. You got to be able to be saying your ideas, bouncing off of other people. It's like an essential life skill. So what we have is we have group lessons. There are about 25 to 30 kids taking the class.
Yeah.
There's these 2 high schoolers. We've taught them improv comedy. They go off each other. Like what I realized was if you just watch one person talking, pretty hard to be interesting. If you got 2 people, energy, right? Like somebody say something, bounce the energy, then the 2 of them take turns. Did you see the Twitch style chat running up the screen?
This looks very much like Twitch. Can you send emojis in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
And the kids do. And we just made it so that the instructors are cool with the emojis and the excitement. And if someone says something that's really off topic, we have an interesting power. We can cut it out of the chat. So you see, what we did here is we have a moderated chat. In fact, if someone goes and starts swearing and saying all kinds of bad stuff, no one ever sees it because there's a 10-second delay between when you write a message and when it appears.
So you have filter words.
We have filter people. Actually, this is a production, okay? We got 2 high schoolers. They're going ding, 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 like this, improv comedy. We got 1 actor, that's like a director. And we have 2 teaching assistants. The 2 teaching assistants are controlling the chat. If someone's not talking, they send that person a message privately. Hey, how are you doing? Having a good day? Right? Like we have a 5-person team managing a 25 to 30 person class.
Again, this sounds way better than the traditional experience, but again, it cannot be infinitely scalable. What's the business model behind it?
So the answer is it's pretty darn scalable. Let me explain how the scalability works, okay? And let me answer the business model too. Business model is real simple. I showed you a math class.
Yeah.
We charge only $22 an hour to take this math class.
Okay.
If you know how much all of the extracurricular math options out there in the entire country or world cost,
Way higher.
way higher. This is actually a low price in the United States. I said they're high schoolers teaching, but they're super good. Like the thing I just showed you, our high school students, they're the people who are in high school, but they're on the way to like crazy good colleges. For example, of the high schoolers, 30 of the high schoolers graduated this year. We have 100 high schoolers total, but the 30 who graduated this year, 6 of them got into Harvard, 13 got into MIT. There's 2 going to Princeton, at least 1 turned down Stanford, multiple turned down Yale, 2 are going to Duke, someone's going to Cambridge, England. Here's how the business model works. It's super simple. While those high schoolers are teaching, there's an actor in that Zoom room. The actor has one job, keep giving feedback to the high schoolers. What that means is while the high schooler talk, they're getting real-time feedback on eyes, voice, everything, okay? Turns it into, if you teach 1 hour, you get 1 hour of real-time guidance to help you be more compelling. That's the exchange. Suddenly, we have lots of high schoolers who realize if you do this, not only do you pass every college interview, not only do you get every job, you can get in relationships easier too. You know, life is just awesome. You'll get promoted super fast. We're making it so that IQ and EQ come together. Suddenly, it's a giant win for the facilitator. So the scalability of this is any middle schooler who wants to learn how to invent new ideas of thinking to survive in this post-AI world, that's the customer. That's an enormous pool. The facilitators, any high school student who's really good at math already, like easily at least 1% of high schoolers are in this category. That's 100,000 people in the US alone. So I have a supply-demand match in the sense that at the facilitator level, the high schoolers, well, there's enough people with the skill and enough people who want to do this because then they can learn how to be really expressive. Suddenly, this means that we could run at the scale relatively easily of at least 100,000 high schoolers teaching about 1 million middle schoolers. To power this, I just need to have enough actors. Our ratio is every actor can support 20 high schoolers. If I want 100,000 high schoolers, I just need 5,000 actors. Look, we're in LA right now.
Yeah, full of actors.
Full of actors. We want the people who are also just, they're really good, but maybe they aren't already busy with a blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And there's lots and lots of people like this. Like the latest guy we just hired on as an actor, he's awesome. He previously was in Cirque du Soleil.
Wow.
Yeah, he worked for Steven Spielberg even. We even made a retirement plan for actors.
Really?
Well, because you see, actors with experience, they're awesome. We're just really good at picking people who are about to be absolute superstars.
What do you think about like selecting the right subjects that are actually going to be useful later down the road?
Okay, what I just described is something for everyone. So actually what we teach is just the raw heart of how to solve a problem you never saw before. Because we have these two dynamic, super clever people, every class structure is different from what you're used to in school. We throw a question at you, which only needs middle school math to understand, but you have absolutely no idea how to do it because even high schoolers would not know how to start the problem. It's weird. It's like combining basic ideas in ways you'd never thought of before. Because we'll give you a question and suddenly 25 to 30 kids brainstorm. We don't tell you how to do it. This is the most important part. Our teachers don't tell you what to do. It's a wonderful experience where you don't have to worry about whether it's the teacher's way of doing it. Don't have to worry about whether it's the book's way of doing it. Whatever you come up with, just start going. We're teaching this core skill, which every single middle schooler who wants to have a role in this future should take. And I've just described something that's not delivered in any of the standard education system. We're not preparing you for SAT style standard problems. We're not preparing you to get an A in your normal school because GPT can get an A in your normal school.
Exactly.
We're teaching you how to be the person of the future.
That's amazing. There's been this argument that AI makes people lazy a bit. I think of this analogy as calculator, right? When I was going to like giving math tests when I was in high school, we were not allowed to use calculator, and suddenly it changed, and then people were allowed to use a calculator. So how do we fix this problem of stopping people to make lazy thinking and just jumping to ChatGPT, finding the solution really fast instead of critical thinking?
I love this question because actually it gets at the heart of the big mission that we're working on. And the big mission is to counteract the root cause of what you call laziness. I'm looking at the world. I travel a lot. I give like 200 talks a year in like 100 cities. I see all this humanity. I love humanity. And by seeing all this, I see, wow, we're living in a world where if everyone is every person for themselves, we're all going to lose to AI. It's not just that AI will make us lazy. AI is going to make it so that the divisions between people, the individualistic, it makes it so easy to take advantage of and actually suppress the humanity as everyone just does everything for themselves. So what we're actually trying to do is I'm leading a movement where we're trying to make a whole lot of people enjoy two principles. First one, the way to be happy is to delight as many other people as you can. The second one is hard work is actually fun. Let me first explain why I care about these two principles. It's because if you actually live by these two principles, well, lazy gets cut out of it. I said hard work is actually fun on something meaningful. I mean, you got up really early in this morning, I bet, to go and set up this whole thing. Why? Is it because you were like, oh man, I gotta get to work? No, it's because you were like, this is fun.
This is fun.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's like life is more fun if you're not just vegging out on a couch. But you see, what makes life more fun is because you probably are inspired by the impact you're about to have. That's because your idea of what makes you is the impact on other people. This, by the way, is actually fun. It's addictive. And so I'm trying to rejigger a lot of kids' value to be like, you know what? Getting joy in other people. It's fun. Once you have this, are you going to cheat on an assignment? Well, what was the assignment for? It's to teach you something. Okay? Like, what did you cheat? You only cheated yourself. My philosophy is, let's think, how do we build a whole society where people actually delight in making other people happy, right?
Yeah.
We're teaching them that skill. And then we've actually, for all the high schoolers, we've pre-screened them because we have so many high schoolers who want to join our program. In order to join, you got to pass interviews. We make sure that every single person teaching is someone who loves humanity. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to cause all these middle school students to say, I want to be him. I want to be her. They like people. All right, how do I join this club? Oh, you got to like people? Well, let me try. Let me try to do something for people. And anyone who starts doing things for people and getting other people to smile, you get addicted.
I want to quickly talk about how are you like spreading the word and telling people to sign up?
I've been traveling around the entire country, and so everywhere I go, the people who happen to come to the talks, now they know. The good news is once they join, a few months later, they start telling other people that these are the best things they've ever seen. We get feedback. Like a student who took this said, every single time I take this class, I feel like I've had a spiritual awakening in the domain of algebra. Like we get this kind of feedback. So like we got people telling everyone. I don't do any paid promo. I want to emphasize that. Like if you had said I have to pay to get on this podcast, I'd be like, nope. So my style is real simple. I talk to people who just want to get to the honest truth. What is the best thing out there? We happen to make the best thing out there.
I quickly also want to talk about platforms like Khan Academy, Baiju. Like, what do you think about those and how useful they are for people?
I think that all of of those people are doing a service to humankind. I'm not here to go criticize, right? Khan Academy, I mean, he makes free stuff. I mean, it's fantastic. My approach was, I think that inspiration and lighting that fire are how you win. So if you look at the way I teach, if you ever watch the way I teach, sure, there's content delivery. But what I'm really trying to teach is this is fun. And not just is it fun in some shallow way, you can use this to get a wonderful life. I can help guide you to that too. So Khan Academy, fantastic. If you want to go and brush up on some skill, he's got that. He's got a video he's made. Usually the student doesn't look at that as like now this is how I want to be, because you can't see. You know what I mean? He's not in it. Oh, there's another big difference. He covers huge variety of concepts. We cover only this critical 120 hours as a middle school student to teach you how to be inspired, light that fire, ignite, and also learn how to learn and learn how to think. 120 hours later, you are equipped to use the entire internet's resources, whether they are Baiju, Sal Khan, or goodness knows whatever. You see what I mean? So I see them not as a competitor, but as an orthogonality. We're perpendicular. There are all these people who are making educational resources to teach you individual things. We're trying to light the fire to make you want to use them.
Last question I want to ask you is like, for people who want to like really level up their skills, what kind of resources should they go after? Like, what kind of books you were reading? What kind of YouTube channels you were watching? Like, it doesn't have to be a high school student. It could be someone like me who's already done a master's degree, but I still want to upgrade my skill set. So what would you recommend?
Two different sides. One is how to upgrade the technical skill set.
Yeah.
One is how to upgrade the emotional skill set. The emotional meaning understanding of people. These are two separate things. For the technical skill set, the first thing is to get yourself to the point where you are literally never scared of any technical explanation. There's a certain thing where sometimes when people look and they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be too technical, right? It's like, do I understand how everything fits together? What's this cable diagram? What's the impedance on a microphone? Like, what's a phantom power? I'm naming all kinds of different concepts. Sometimes people look at it and they're like, there's too much going on. The way to learn how to never be scared of that is to learn how to solve problems you haven't seen before. Actually, our classes that we teach, I said middle schoolers, actually everyone should take them. Most adults have never learned this ever, okay? That's how you build a technical. To build a non-technical, like the human part, my observation is just talk to people. Actually get out there and look at people. Like when I'm on the street, I'll often be looking around being like, I wonder what makes this person tick. I wonder what their problem, what their pain point is, right? And if you also talk to people so you don't just wonder, after a while, you can use your technical skill to solve the non-technical human problem.
Where do people find you?
The easiest way to find me is to just search for math actors and look for the CNN article. And that's me. It's like why this math professor is putting actors in every classroom. My name is Po-Shen Lo. If you search for PO-SHEN-LOH, you find me. You can see there's all these different things. We have this YouTube channel. I have the main website. And the whole big program I'm running right now is called Live, L-I-V-E. Actually, if you search Google for live math classes, we're usually the top non-advertisement hit.